In a world consumed by greed, apathy, and terribly paced storytelling, there is a place of escape, a space with hope, kindness, and TV shows where every episode has a beginning, middle, and end, instead of all of them being segments of a 6-hour movie. But this is a place lost to time, inaccessible now to those with attention spans and free time outside of work. Alas, this forbidden world is a relic of a bygone era. We will never again be able to live in harmony within the gutter space. Special thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Stick around for later to hear more about Squarespace. Disney Plus's Moon Knight finally has a trailer, and I have the feeling that almost all of this footage is from the first episode, which is a good thing. I think starting the show with one of Mark Spector's alternate personalities living an everyday life, and then discovering all of the other lives he leads, is a great way to start a fresh take on Moon Knight. Stephen Grant is the vehicle for the audience to be introduced to the wacky and weird world of Moon Knight, and that's fitting because he's the only alter that doesn't take part in any violence. He's just a mousy pacifist businessman guy. I never thought about giving him an English accent before, but I think it works for further distinguishing him from the other two guys, so that's a cool idea.
Why did you call me Mark?
Although I'm painfully aware that this is going to be a watered-down PG-13 show because he jumps over a Disney logo at the end, and that just feels so... It's like, you've got this dark and violent character jumping over something I so heavily associate with children's entertainment and silly cartoon animals dancing. It's like if the Punisher fired a bullet in slow motion and we zoomed in on it and it had a Nickelodeon logo on it, moments before exploding a crime boss's head into orange slime. Okay, that would actually be really funny. We don't see a lot of his costume, but I really dig the design. It's not really going for that typical MCU tactical military look, and I appreciate that. I think it's a great idea to make him so much of a mummy because it fits the Egyptian theme, and it's so mummy-ish that comparison is more obvious than saying he looks like a Klansman because his hood looks awfully pointy sometimes, so that that was a good design choice. 11 out of 10, he doesn't look like a Grand Wizard. Other than that, I don't know what you want from me. I still don't have enough information to say if it's good or not. All I'm seeing is a bunch of out-of-context random clips of Steven shitting his pants. I don't know why all of you guys in my mentions are going, "Bro, looks like they really got it right. It looks so dark and cool and radical, bro. They really did the character justice, bro." I did my breakdown of all the things I did and didn't want to see in this show a few months before WandaVision started, so I was speculating by the metrics of Marvel Netflix, because that was more current. But now I've seen all of the Disney Plus shows, so I can say that it'll have a strong first 2 episodes. The 3rd episode will be boring and terrible. The 4th one will be the worst one by far. The 5th one will be a little bit better, kind of a glimmer of hope. And then the 6th episode will just end weirdly abruptly because nobody knows how to pace and edit movies anymore. Then we'll see about 40 minutes of important character development via deleted scenes that were cut for time so they could focus more on quote-unquote witty dialogue with the hopes it'll become heavily quotable memes for 14-year-olds. Then that show will be held on a pedestal by that fanbase as high cinema because they're children and haven't seen any other movies, so doing the bare minimum to tell a halfway decent mystery story with some mildly trippy visuals will seem like the coolest thing ever, in the same way that a greasy fast food cheeseburger is cool to a 25-year-old who grew up in a cave only eating plain bread and stale water. Why don't you fucking kids watch a movie directed by Panos Cosmatos if you want something that's actually a mind trip? God, I sound like such a cynical old man now. I've become my father. But yeah, the trailer's a big ol' fine in my books. It's fine. I'm still not convinced they did Moon Knight properly, but I'm open to being proven wrong. I was really ready to hate Loki because I thought doing a series on that character was pointless after his arc was completed. But they took it in such a cool direction that I think it justified itself. It had a somewhat dark tone and it tackled some interesting philosophical concepts about time, how propaganda and misinformation props up fascist ideals, life and death and free will under the rule of an omniscient higher power with an inscrutable plan. It had some really great visuals and some of my favorite character moments in the entire MCU. But of course everyone hates that show because it has a character ship they don't really like, because these people watch these movies like they're big budget episodes of Friends. Ross and Rachel, ew! So if it's closer to WandaVision, Title Too Long, or Hawkeye, I'll probably find it pretty boring and forgettable, but if it's closer to Loki, I might just think it's kinda cool. We'll see what happens. This is a variety news show, so I'll talk about other stuff too. if you're one of those 7,000 new subs from last month. I haven't done one of these in a while, so that's the format. I'll talk about a bunch of stuff. It'll be funny, I promise. Don't click off. Hold on, please. I've got other things to say. In other Oscar Isaac news, Apocalypse Poe Dameron is playing Miguel O'Hara in Across the Spider-Verse because Hollywood only uses the same 20 actors for everything. The trailer looks pretty cool. Apparently every universe they go to will have its own unique art style, and I'm hoping to see some legitimate 2D animation in there too. I'm just really hoping they don't go to the universe from the 90s cartoon, because that'll completely invalidate my fan comic and also probably really piss off the creator of that show because he believes he should be credited with the Spider-Verse concept. I don't like that they slightly updated everyone's costumes for toy appeal because they look good enough the first time. Please stop fiddling with the designs. It was already good. God, why do her gloves look like that? Why does he have to have these stripes? Please stop doing this, movies. Spider-Man 2099 jumps into action to throw hands with Miles because he had the black and red costume before it was cool, but a magic spell called pour inking and coloring made the entire world forget. It's a superhero staple. You gotta have a misunderstanding where they fight for a little bit before teaming up against the common foe. Except Miguel says that's stupid and doesn't do that in the comics, but whatever, no one actually read that run. They only remember this guy from Shattered Dimensions where he sounded like Bumblebee and was more obviously blue. But of course, the first Spider-Verse movie is amazing, so hopefully this is even better. Even though it'll have a lot to live up to. My biggest concern is adding too many alternate universe spider people that don't really add anything to the story and just make it too hard to focus on who the main character is. You know, like the Spider-Verse comic. Keep it focused on Miles, he's our boy, everyone else is secondary. Yes, even you, Spider-Ham. In other news, Mortal Kombat 2 has been announced and I'm eager to watch it because I actually like the first one. Yeah, I'm dumb. And yes, the movie is dumb, mindless, silly, violent schlock, but that's what I look for in Mortal Kombat. All I want is for them to have more interesting main characters and ease back on the Scorpion dick riding. Like, yes, we get it, he's everyone's favorite character, he's my favorite character, but he went from being just one of the many fighters on the roster to he's so cool and important that all characters with powers are direct descendants of him and explicitly have powers because they're related to such a cool and important guy who is cool and important. I hope Johnny Cage is in this one to be the comic relief since Kano died. I'd also like to see Smoke and the rest of the Lin Kuei gang become robots because that's my favorite side story in the MK universe. There's a look at this cosplay I did. I really like talking about Mortal Kombat, but no one fucking watches it when I do, so... Speaking of Hollywood using the same 20 actors in everything ever, just about the same time as that announcement, The Rock announced that he's going to be in another major video game movie adaptation soon, and it's one that he plays quite often. Maybe he'll be Shao Kahn or something if his ego would allow him to actually play a villain again for the first time since Doom. Or maybe they'll make a Fortnite movie or whatever, I don't know. Mortal Kombat and Sonic are the only ones I like. I think they should never adapt Resident Evil again. I'm glad everyone instantly forgot that terrible attempt last year and it made no money. And making a TV show out of The Last of Us is redundant because the game is already such a cinematic experience. Hey kids, you want to see the exact same thing you saw already, but with one layer of what made it interesting and impressive totally stripped away? Now you don't get to experience these events yourself in an immersive environment, you can just put your hands in your pockets while a bunch of actors do that work for you. Hollywood sure is weird. See this beautifully crafted, hand-painted, detailed rendering and animation? Well, cartoons and 3D rendered vid games aren't real storytelling, so let's recreate that by just pointing a camera at an actor on a green screen while the entire rest of the frame is a 3D rendered cartoon. It's more valid as an art style because 15% of the frame has live action footage composited in and looks like shit. If I'm rambling more this time, it's because these are hard to write when they haven't announced a lot of new stuff and it's a dry season this time of year. Marvel's Avengers is adding the black and red suit from Spider-Man Far From Home for like $14. But you can get that for free in the Insomniac game, or spend like the same amount for it in Fortnite, but the mask is removable and he gets a backpack and a baseball bat and a Zendaya to pine for in an emotional TikTok story that'll surely have an unsatisfying ending when it's revealed that the other player is a 45-year-old guy named Rob or something. John Romita Jr. is back drawing the Amazing Spider-Man after like 15 years. He's the best artist that nobody respects. Bunch of damn gabagools think the only valid art style is photorealism. Let the man do some stylization. The poses are dynamic. He's got great layouts. PlayStation exclusive games are getting PC ports so people can mod Kratos to have a giant head and probably put Atreus in a stormtrooper outfit or some other ridiculous thing. I personally hope someone mods it so Kratos' model is replaced with Nemesis from Resident Evil so we can see if the emotions hit his heart if he looks like a third-degree burn victim with a xenomorph mouth and like a sideways nose. If those Spider-Man games get ported too, I know everyone's gonna swap his face model with the old one, so that'll be funny. I mean, I don't care that much about that shit anymore, but everyone's still really mad about that. New Star Wars video games coming down the pipe, including a sequel to Fallen Order, an untitled first-person shooter, and a strategy game. This is in addition to the Star Wars game at Quantic Dream, which is certainly a bold choice given recent news. I'll just stick to Lego Star Wars. Aww, jeez. Alright, what else? Winnie the Pooh is public domain, so here's a brief cartoon of him robbing a bank. I'll let Jacob and Ben figure out what that looks like.
What happened to the rest of the guys?
Madam Web movie starring Dakota Johnson is in early development, which is strange because Madam Web is an elderly French woman, no one remembers she's French, who can't leave the chair she sits on all day without dying. So, she'll probably be the other Madam Web, and the original is yet to be cast. Big ups to Julia Carpenter for being one of the only Marvel superheroes from Colorado. And also for being a good sport because Spider-Man stole her costume ideas because he's a punk. There, I talked about Moon Knight. You can't say I didn't talk about Moon Knight. There you go. No, I won't do a video on No Way Home. I have nothing to say about it. It's a good movie, though. You should come back next time. I'll see you 90s electric guitars! We all know the real gutter space is where I'd be living if not for sponsors like Squarespace. Squarespace gives you a user-friendly and beautiful platform to maintain and run your very own website. You can connect with your site's users through gated members-only content, as well as sending email notifications, leverage audience insights, all on one easy-to-use platform. You can create your own community with comment sections with threaded comments and likes. These handy blogging tools built in can help you easily categorize and share posts on the site. You can get even more from Squarespace with third-party extensions to manage inventory, promote products, streamline bookkeeping, or whatever else your site needs to run like a well-oiled machine. And you can even display posts from your social media on your site to make sure your followers are connected and can share them too. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/this special code to save 10% off your first purchase for a website or domain.